Cool. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Purchase Corner. That's a little play on Coach's Corner, if you guys didn't kind of guess that. Special guest, and I want to make sure I say the last name correctly. Celio or Celio?
It's Celio. If you were Italian, it'd be Celio, but it got a little bit Americanized throughout the years, so we go by Celio.
Okay. I got Billy Celio, Senior Project Manager of Upper Deck. It's an absolute honor to have you on. As a huge collector myself, as you can see in my background, these are all the boxes I've ripped of your wonderful product. So I wanted to hang that up and give you some praise there. And I absolutely thank you so much for coming on. I think it's going to be great. I got a stack of cards to kind of go through, talk about a couple questionable ones that I'm a little iffy on, and then you can kind of explain those. And then I got some packs to rip. I thought it'd be fun to actually rip some packs. And I'll absolutely start with obviously something new that you guys just kind of dropped. I know that SP is really what everyone's ripping right now. They're going for that Connor Bedard chase. But I actually watch you rip this. I thought it was great. I think it's a great product. I ripped last year's as well. So this is box number 2 already for me. And I love it. I'll show you my favorite product at some point here. There's last year's design. Now, going back to back Connor McDavid's I know you had a hot streak of Crosby on the cover. What is there a particular reason why you stuck with McDavid, or?
I think McDavid's kind of our Series 1 guy right now. You know, he's one of our spokesmen. He's definitely, one of the best players in the world right now. So we obviously want to show that off. So usually Series 2 we'll have like a top rookie in there, and but we want to start off with our spokesman, the main guy. So we went to Connor McDavid. I love what they did with the box this year with the 3 photos on it. I think that looks really nice, a little bit different than what we've done in previous years. And our brand team, who's the ones that kind of decide. I always make the joke that you always see a lot of Vancouver Canucks and Colorado Avalanche on the boxes, and that's because our 2 of our head brand guys are Avalanche and Vancouver fans. And there was a streak for a while where Vancouver rookies, it was like every year they had their big one, and of course they had to be on at least one box cover.
Okay, all right. Well, we got Barry watching, so that's cool. Appreciate you coming out, Barry. I was trying to pre-record. I couldn't get that figured out. I have to have the premium plan to do that, so we're just gonna go live, and then I'll end up posting it later. But did you kind of give him some info on like the rivalry that we had back in the day on Detroit, Colorado, and what that was really looking like? Did you give him the business or what?
You want to know what's funny is I do in series like 2 and 3, we always have Day with the Cup. And I think I jinx us because I always for solicitation players, I'll always put a Red Wing on there because I'm like, they're going to win the cup again. And they're like, you're jinxing it. I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't believe in that. And I don't think they've made the playoffs since I've worked at Upper Deck. So, you know what? Maybe I'm going to have to change that up a little bit.
I think it's just been, just more of a rebuilding for the team. I do follow. Leafs are kind of my number one, but I grew up. Steve Yzerman was kind of my guy growing up as a kid. I grew up in Windsor and moved here in the Detroit area in '97. So really at the peak and height of the Red Wings legendary status. So yeah, I grew up, watching them and rooting for them. I am more of a Leafs fan these days, and it's kind of hateful words in Michigan town to say that, but I follow Detroit still a lot. Surprisingly enough, my main PC is Sidney Crosby, which I know was hateful words again back in from 08, 09, 10.
You don't even want to know how I talk about oh my gosh, I hate him. Just made the Hall of Fame. Why am I drawing a blank? There's 2 players I'm not a fan of. It's Corey Perry and
Jeremy Roenick.
No, I call him
Okay.
the cup chaser, and I might use other words. Who's the guy that won the cups with Chicago? Just made the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. I'm not a Hossa.
oh yeah, Marion Hossa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
I,
It's so crazy to have seen him. I was excited when he was here. And then yeah, he goes and plays with Taves and Kane
he
and
disappeared in the playoffs though. Come on.
oh, of course. Of course. Oh, he was something to watch. Nothing like Sergei Fedorov of what we had, growing
No,
up, honestly.
we got spoiled. We got spoiled.
We sure did. Ultimately, some of the things I was going to ask you, and obviously we'll highlight a lot of the products. Like I said, I've opened up quite a bit this year. I did a box of metal. There's some questionable cards I really want to ask you about the design in them, and maybe you'll know what I'm getting to. But my favorite product this year is Allure, and I'm going to tell you why. Not only did I get lucky and pull pretty much an auto out of every box, but I brought a little example of how I think the color flow should look. And so I know you can do the same player in the color flow, but I'm in particular of actually using multiple different players to create the rainbow. So I kind of highlighted that on a show I'm on Saturday nights, and I thought that was the best representation. Again, a few players that I'd probably maybe change out. I'm a huge fan of Nyes and Fantilli, of course, but I'd probably put, OV. He's another PC guy, but these are the ones that I particularly pulled. I pulled 3 Bedards, and this is my favorite product, though, I think, of the year.
So I remember when we first started doing that, I'm like, people always talk about collecting the rainbow. And it's just like, let's collect the rainbow. Like literally, like here you go from red to purple. And I wanted to make it feasible. That's the other thing. The first year we did it, I think the hardest one was numbered out of 199. So there was some chase level to it. And since then, I think we've made it a little more, even more accessible. But then we added the Spectrum version of it. So if you want like your rare hits, you can get the Spectrum. And then there's some diehards that go for the Spectrum rainbow also. And then for just the casual collector that want to do what you've done there, and it's a little bit easier, but it's a cool visual just having them all together.
Yeah, I love it, and I actually pulled a Jeremy Swayman Spectrum that I love. I love that it's short print. That's another cool aspect of it. A little bit harder to chase. Obviously, we kind of know that the blue purple has really been a challenge for everyone to get, and really does draw a pretty premium price in obviously aftermarket, but I was lucky enough. Last year, I ended up pulling out of the 22-23 full rainbow of the Logan Thompson. I thought that was really great. And then, surprisingly enough, in the same box this year, I pulled 2 Blue Line autos. So one of Suzuki and one of Evangelista. So one's 16 out of 35 and one's 33 out of 35. So I got really lucky with that box. I was actually pretty shocked. And then you got your red rainbow auto as well of Marco Casper, who's a really talented player for the Wings. So
I'm gonna need you to return one of those autos because you're only supposed to get one. Well, we might have had I think you're only supposed to get one. So yeah, you can just return one of them. In fact, I'll just take the Casper if you want.
I'm happy to pass it to a true Red Wing fan over here. That's no problem. I'd be happy to hook you up with that anytime. You just let me know and I will send that your way, my friend. I figured I got lucky because I know you're not guaranteed an auto in the box this year like previous years, but I was pretty stoked.
I think it's an auto in all but one box, and I think the last box you get a doubloon. And I'll be honest with you, the doubloons. Look at if you look at the secondary market on doubloons, they're actually a lot of them are worth more than what you would pay, what some of the autos are for. If you got a second one, we also, we sometimes have extra. So we just say maximize, what's left over. So, there is a chance that you can get 2 autos in a box, and that could be
Wow.
just from maximizing, the extra cards that we had.
Wow. So yeah, I'm definitely really lucky in that aspect.
Yeah, there's
Overall,
not
it sounds
many.
like.
Trust me, it's not too many that'll have 2.
Well, I wanted to touch on this year's product because I thought you guys did a really good job. Um, Maybe a little critiquing on what I've heard from maybe some other rippers is just really hard to read the print is one major thing I've kind of come across. You know, although I don't have a challenge with it, I can see what they're talking about, but that's more if you pull like a deluxe, since it's the royal blue, it can
Yeah.
be a little bit challenging, but that's why you guys put the name on the back ultimately. So yeah, pulled the deluxe this year. I love your guys' clear cut. Always a huge fan of that card. I really love what you guys did with the Dazzlers this year compared to
Mhm.
the previous years. I think this is an amazing design. I'll save kind of the best for last. I really enjoy the city satellites. This is the speckle version, which is really nice of Jack Hughes. And then the A lines, which I thought was a really nice design this year. Pulled a Bedard. I love what you guys did, and I kind of heard your explanation of the portraits, but I love it compared
Yeah.
to last year, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. But I love this design. I thought your team did a really great job with this, and I really love the breaking news. Thought you guys did a fantastic job there. It's a beautiful card. And then the experience, I really love that card as well. So I got lucky and pulled a Bedard again. And then the gaming co-op. I know you got some aimbots in there as well. Checkpoints, which is really cool card. I know I have those with me, but what can you kind of go over as far as what the overall inspiration was to change the portraits? The Dazzlers just wanted to kind of change it up for this year, or what were you guys thinking there?
I felt that the Dazzlers had become a little bit repetitive from a design standpoint. And we've had the same guy working on Series 1 and a number of the inserts for quite some time now. And so I just kind of challenged him to come up with something different. There are times when I give like exact direction. Now I draw stick people. Our designers do an amazing job interpreting my stick figures onto a card. But there's other times where I just say, hey, we're looking for something different. This is kind of the theme. Let's see what you can come up with. And he nailed it on the first try. I think I might have told him to like lighten a certain area or do something like that. But other than that, like that was the first try design from our designer. Just absolutely crushed it. I immediately fell in love with it. My boss was just like, "Yep, that's it," and didn't have to go back and forth because there's sometimes you might have a design and you're back and forth for like a couple weeks. So to get it on the first try, like he did with maybe one adjustment, kind of just shows that he kind of understood what we were trying to do. The gaming stuff, it's just like I'll go with themes sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
There's things I always want to do in a like a flagship type of product. You'll usually it's different things. A lot of times you'll find I put in a goalie insert, like just
Mm-hmm.
goalie fans love their goalies. You always try to put
Mm-hmm.
a goalie insert. I like to do an enforcer set of some sort because then it adds a little more variety to the inserts. Like you don't always want to have the top guys in every single insert. It's the same 20, 30 guys in every single insert. There's got to be some love for Simon on the
Sure.
wings, kind of. So I always have an enforcer thing, and there hasn't been a lot of sets for enforcers, so I'm able to
No.
come up with clever insert names that haven't been used yet, because that's always a problem, is finding insert names that aren't copyrighted or aren't infringent upon something else that we have to be careful of. We don't like to get sued, so we're very, very cautious when it comes to that. So this year's theme was gaming. We have some like a Call of Duty license. Before that, we had Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
We have our gaming division also.
Yep.
So it's not like I went over there and said stuff. It's just like I played video games back in the
Yep.
day. The 16-bit is inspired by 94 Sega,
Love it.
So I'm just like, well, what else can we do? What other aspects of gaming are there? So I really kind of did I say a deep dive, but it's just kind of remembered some of the old, games that we played, or some of the screens and some of the stuff. And then the other thing about the gaming inserts is there was a lot of photography that we just never see on cards. There's a lot of pictures from the back as opposed to just straight up pictures. And we actually had to give special direction to the photographer, like our photo department had to tell the guys shooting, like, hey, we need images of these guys from behind. And they were kind of like, what are you going to use those for? He's like, we've got a couple inserts that require that kind of imagery. So it wasn't just like, hey, go find some stuff. Like, we had to kind of prepare for it. So yeah, this year's Series 1 had a very strong gaming theme, and I think the cards came out cool. If you do kind of gaming stuff, you would understand it. And the other thing is, when you're building a flagship product, I'm never going to please everybody, never, because there's going to be your whales, there's going to be your kids, there's going to be your collectors, there's going to be your rippers and flippers, and it's very hard to make a set that accommodates for all those people. But that's what that's what we try to do with our flagship. But that being said, there's going to be some inserts that the whales and the rippers and flippers, just love. There's going to be some inserts that the kids love. There's going to be some inserts that the collectors love and want to collect the whole set, that sort of thing, like the canvas set or the portraits or whatever. There's set collectors. There's people open the packs and selling to get more and all this. So you want to accommodate everybody. So like you're saying, there's a couple inserts that you don't understand or don't like. Maybe they're for somebody else, or maybe there's some more thought behind it, or maybe I just want to have a little fun too. We want to add a lot of variety to the flagship. So there's a lot of inserts that we have to come up with. So I feel like with the gaming insert, especially with all the different type of photography and all the other inserts that we put in there, I feel no box opening experience is the same. It's not like I got 5 portraits and 4 honor rolls and 3 canvas and 6 young, or 4 canvas and 6 young gun. It's like you could literally just stack the 5 types of hits on right in front of you back in the day. Now it's just like a plethora of different types of inserts.
Yeah, and I love that you guys really transitioned into putting, 3 different variety of inserts, starting last year. And I really thought that was a huge plus for the flagship. I thought I really did think it made it a little bit more fun. Again, a little bit on the challenging side. I actually was building last year's set. And since this year just came out, I'll probably do the same. But I actually made my way, pretty deep into the set. I think I'm, maybe missing, maybe 100 cards or so. And I'll show you, at some point, kind of my favorite inserts of last year. But I love that you did that. I'm a huge gamer myself. I played a lot of NHL. And so to me, it made sense when I first started ripping it. I'm like, this makes sense to me, because I am, and my friend Paul, who plays hockey, we're both huge NHL guys. And I was like, this is awesome, because this makes sense to me. So no, I love that you did that, Billy. I thought it was very creative. It added something different and new, and really switching it up from last year to this year, I thought was pretty amazing. So no, I give you guys kudos on that. Again, like you said, it might not be for everyone, but for the guys that are into gaming and that love it, I think it's fantastic. I really do.
Yeah, and then say you don't like gaming, but you like, then we did the Young Guns Renewed. We got Luke the Cardist, to great guy, absolutely great guy, to do some work for us, and I thought those came out great. And what's funny is a lot of people are like, man, I wish these were big hits. I wish these we didn't. And the thing is, I think Luke just posted like one of the Sidney Crosby high glosses that went for $1,000 something. Yeah, there are big hit versions of these, but what sucks, I don't want to say what sucks for him, but he's had artwork in other sets and like maybe 10 cards. That's it, because they're one-of-ones. It's his artwork, and so nobody gets to see it. This guy was too good for people not to get to see his work. So I purposely made sure that, you got, I think, 3 or 4 of these per box, but then you still had the high-end chase with the exclusives and with the high glosses. And then next year, of course, we'll do the Outburst Luke the card. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Well, the crazy thing is that Ziri ended up pulling, because I looked at the checklist before I ripped it. And to be honest with you, I started heavily getting back into the hobby around 06, 07. And so my dad and I would go to Gibraltar Trade Center. I'm sure you're very familiar with that, being from Michigan yourself. And we would go to the sports card show all the time. And I was really heavily collecting Crosby, and I just missed my opportunity to get a young gun. And to be honest with you, a friend actually had sent this to me from Saskatchewan, and he knows I'm a huge collector. His name is Canadian Card Breakers, absolutely awesome guy named Jason. And this is my only young gun that I have. I have other rookies of Crosby, but I can't tell you how much I absolutely love this card. I think it's brilliant. I think, again, like you said, there are the chases. Like Ziri pulled the silver Outburst, Connor McDavid. I don't know if you even know who that is,
geez.
but yeah, he's a big card ripper on YouTube, and he pulled that. And I'm like, hold on. I immediately went to Google and I was looking at the checklist. I'm like, wait a minute. This card isn't even on here. I thought he was going to be in Series 2 for sure. And it kind of just blew me away. I would comfortably say, if he were to sell it, which he's not, because he's a collector himself and collects McDavid. I mean, for sure, it's a couple $1,000 card, on the resale market.
It's been doing well. So the Outbursts, we wanted to, again, we're always trying to add value to series to our sets. I always challenge, and part of my job is to also review our team's builds, and then obviously my builds. My boss still reviews my stuff, I always will ask the question, like, how is this better than last year's? And a lot of times I'll get interviewed, like, we're talking about Series 1 this year, and in the back of my mind, I'm sitting there going, like, man, I know what Series 1 next year looks like, and I'm really excited about that, because I'm really excited about this insert and that insert that we added. So we're always trying to add stuff to it. And so I thought it was a great idea. It actually wasn't my idea to do the retro Outbursts. We kind of had a little huddle, trying to figure out, you go from having Bedard to, not having Celebrini until Series 2. So we wanted to figure out how to add value to a flagship set. And I think we came up with a really good plan. And those things are rare. They're extremely rare. You don't find them one every box, just like the regular Outburst. There's only 5 players. And the cool thing about it is it's 5 retro young guns that we're going to do each flagship. So Series 2 will have a different 5 series, or series extended. Extended series will have 5 more, and we're going to do this for 3 years. So it's 45 young guns total. So we've picked 45, what we feel is, some of the top young guns that have not got, like, Bedard won't be in there because obviously he's already had an Outburst, young gun. But guys that haven't had it in the past. I feel that added a lot of value. Another insert that I think is being overlooked right now, speaking of living sets, are the holotypes. We haven't done any kind of holograms in 10 years. Yeah. And so I was just like, well, let's bring it back. And this is for only Series 1, because we do understand, because of our limitations of being able to we can't get new skating rookies into Series 1 anymore. It's too much of a time limitations. Back in the day, we literally would have people working 24 hours for 2 weeks, or 24 hours a day for 2 weeks, just to get 5 or 10 of the new young guns in there and get everything finished. It's just not feasible anymore, especially with shipping and stuff like that, and materials. So we try to get stuff done a little earlier so we can get Series 1 out, before the expo. So we wanted to do something to add a little more oomph to Series 1 because it was missing that number one, or potentially the number one pick. So I decided to bring back the holograms. And again, it's a living set. There's 30 subjects each year. And it's only in Series 1. So right now, like I'm looking at the secondary market on some of these, and I think they're kind of low. And the reason I say that is as the years progress, there's going to be those master set collectors. I really believe this. I think the cards are nice enough. I don't think people are seeing the big picture yet for these cards. And you know what? Sometimes it takes a few years for people to really appreciate some of the stuff that you've done and built. I've learned that 10 years being there. So I think it's one of those inserts that as time progresses, you're going to get the set collectors that are gonna want those cards, and they're gorgeous looking cards. So
yeah,
I'm excited about those, and I hope either I hope people don't latch on and I buy them all, and then I can do some crazy trades and get some cool stuff, or they do latch on and it just adds value to the sets that I build, and that's actually more important to me than doing crazy trades for now.
Yeah, I haven't pulled one yet, but I definitely would love to, because I do think that was a great idea to bring back to the set. And again, if once everyone kind of rewatches this is your regular silver Outburst, and then I do have an example of a red Outburst that I did pull in last year's set, 23 of 25 of Dylan Gunther. I actually love the red. I think it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
That you guys offer. It's an absolute monster card.
I'll tell you what. There's so many. Sorry to interrupt you. As a Red Wing fan,
good.
you know that red's got to be red, right? It can't.
Yeah.
And how many times have you seen it? Just like a parallel, it's supposed to be red and it almost looks pink, and you get really worried. You're like, please don't be pink. Please don't be pink. First time we saw those cards, I'm like, thank you. That's what I want. I want red.
Yes, that pops right there. Yeah. And you know what's nice about this is not only with the red background, but you really have it popping with the gold numbering as well on it, which I really appreciated for this particular set. I thought that was great. That's the only red Outburst I currently have in my possession that I ended up pulling. And we were talking about the portraits, and I have the example just so we can see what last year's looked like, because I've heard you mention this, and it's a hit or miss for me. I'll be honest with you. I think I've gotten more used to it the more I stare at them. But we'll put them side to side here. So we got the Englishman, or Colonial, or whatever you want to call that, versus a new one. Again, I think this is fun. I think it was a revolutionary, pardon the pun, idea to put in last year's set, but again, I really love your new one. I think it's pretty awesome. So I wanted to touch on that and see kind of what your thoughts were there.
So I have, you might have heard some stories of how I say certain things are inspired by things just in my regular life. A couple of my best friends, they live in Long Beach. I stay at their house all the time. And for Christmas one year, the wife got one of those painted, got it painted. And it's just like her husband, and he's and it's like exactly like those. Yeah. And then the next year for Christmas, he bought one of her and their daughter. So they in their bathroom, they have the three pictures hanging up. It's hilarious. And so I'm just, as I said, portraits were one of the most boring inserts.
Yeah.
For the first few years I worked there, and everyone's like, get rid of portraits. Get rid of portraits. Portraits is a great it's a great insert name. It's a great good thing to have. Upper UD portraits.
Yeah.
It should stay in this UD canvas. UD portraits, it should be in the set. But let's make them more interesting. So I've done a bunch of different things, and I've told the story, but that one was inspired by. I can show it on your show too here. It was inspired by something I saw International Fight Week in Vegas, where there was this Ronda Rousey photo, and hopefully it shows. Of course, it's not going to. Oh no, It's let's see if I can get it to show. There it is.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
that's a picture. Like that's 9 Polaroids
yep,
that a guy took to make one photo. I'm like,
yep,
that's a really cool concept. I go, but I don't want to copy it. Like, I don't want it to look exactly the same. Like, he has it all lined up and everything. I go, it'd
yeah,
be kind of cooler if you distort it a little bit and move some of the pieces around, but and still have you still got to have like the Upper Deck logo and the UD Portraits call out.
yeah.
And it went through a couple iterations with our designer, but I think she nailed it. Like what I was looking for. It's not exactly connected. It's not like it
I
doesn't
love it.
necessarily match up.
I
So
absolutely love it. I think it's a great insert. I love all the subsets from this year. I think they're great. I think that's awesome. And another one
I
that
already know it. Here's one of those moments where I say I already know what next year's is, and
okay.
old Billy's back. We'll just put it that way.
All right. All right. Fair enough. Another cool story that you had shared on your Instagram, and I think, not to get like sentimental or like all mushy about it, but I really did think it was a very sweet gesture of adding the Easter egg of the crossed up. Again, I when you really look at it, I think it does separate itself from the 16-bit, but I love that you paid homage to your mom and that's something that she enjoyed doing. And I thought that was pretty special, man. I just wanted to really kind of yeah, congratulate you on that, to adding that to the set. And it's a card that I want in my PC, especially if Crosby and Ovi. And I think it's very cool. I love that it has the border around it to make it actually look like a crochet piece. And I really love that you did that. So I just wanted to give you kind of a praise on that, because I thought that was a really cool Easter egg for all of us to see, and something different in this series one.
We didn't we don't always like we always have Easter eggs, and I think one of the things that has I don't want to say it's hurt us because people are excited about the Easter eggs, but I don't think we've announced enough of them. I think if people knew there was more content in some of these products, that they'd be even more excited about it. And we're kind of about getting people excited about our products now. Like we've definitely seen what our competitors do. It's a hype train. It's unbelievable. Like they do a great job of hyping their stuff. And honestly, like you could hate it, but they're getting people interested in trading cards. So I can't hate
Yeah.
it, but I want some of the hype to go our way. I want people to get excited about our products too. And so we did give away a lot of the Easter eggs this year, like the retro outbursts and stuff. But one of the ones that we didn't was the crossed up. And like I'm in Michigan right now. I about every other month or once every 3 months or so between me, like I go and visit my stepmom back home, and we just kind of hang out in her room, and she's got pictures galore, and she has all these cross stitches, and she's passed on some like it's kind of funny. I jokingly say I have Christmas decorations up year round because the one cross stitch that she gave me is of Santa Claus, and it's just
Oh
like,
yeah.
okay, I'm gonna put it up there. So in California, I have my Santa Claus cross stitch that's been up on my wall now for about 5 or 6 years. I had my cousins commenting. They're like, "Yep, we got one of those cross stitches too." So she was big into cross stitching, and it's just kind of like a fun little ode to her. I showed
Yeah.
her. I showed her when I was a few days ago for the first time. She was excited about it. I've done other stuff. I've told people like the blue china plate has to do with some grandparents and some friends of mine that literally display the blue china stuff. That was a
Hmm.
parallel and allure. Tailgate. Oh, you never got to see the bacon wrapped parallel. That was going to be a good one. That's an ode to all my tailgating I did at Michigan State back in the day.
Okay.
And but no, there's little things here and there that I sneak in that if that I can that not everybody knows the backstory. I kind of wanted to get that one out there only because it's not that I can't take criticism or anything like that, but I didn't want people to make uneducated comments about how this is just a redo of 16-bit when there's actually a story behind it and something that's special to me. So I put it out there for people. Usually I don't want to say usually I could care less, but usually like, yeah, you got to have thick skin in this position.
Oh,
So,
for sure.
I don't necessarily comment or leave messages or anything like that. But in this instance, I just kind of wanted to put it out there.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. Plus when you really think about it, Billy, I mean, it keeps the product fresh. It's not stagnant. And so I think really what you guys have done is made the product fresh, and I think it's really added a lot of excitement, compared to previous years. And not that it was a bummer or anything. I still think it was a fun product to rip. I mean, you can see behind me, I got tons of boxes I ripped from you guys, and but I like that I get 3 inserts. Now I'll take the less packs, more cards per pack. I enjoy that. I think, really, you guys have put some real deep thought into the last couple years, and I got more examples. Again, I won't keep boring everyone with the examples. I'm such a huge collector and I get excited. I loved your guys' Deep Roots. I thought that was one of my favorites. I always love getting a pop count. You'll see a trend here with the Crosby, of course, the Outburst. My favorite insert, though, that I hope makes a return, and this is just putting this out there, but this has got to be one of my favorite inserts I've ever gotten from Upper Deck, and it's the 200 by 85. This is the red variant to 99 of Crosby. I got the blue one as well. I got a gold as well. I love this because I think you're getting 2 cards in one. And what I mean by that is not only am I getting the home jersey, but now I'm getting the away as well. And so I really love this card. I love it with the back rink. Big kudos to you on that. I thought you guys did a fantastic job with the Seeing Red. I think that's an amazing card.
Now, when people tell me I should have left a card as a case hit instead of a regular box hit, that's what I'll agree with. I will agree. When I saw the final product of those Seeing Reds, I was like, man, these are nice looking cards. I was surprised.
Yep.
And like you were talking about how you can't necessarily read all the names on the card. Like, we see a lot of this stuff on digital screens that are blown up, or on our computer, or on pieces of paper, and it looks like you can see them. It looks like you can see it, and then you see it on a card, and maybe the engraved foil, or engraved foil or etched foil doesn't look as etched as it should, and then you can't see the name, or like you said, maybe it's too small. Unfortunately, that happens. That Seeing Red one was one that I wish I could have back when building the set. As for your other card, one of the things that has been really special and awesome is to get Jean McLeod on board at Upper Deck. She and her husband were Arena Designs, and they did many of the iconic Fleer and Skybox inserts from the 90s that are now just completely destroying the market. And one of the things is she actually cares about the back of a card. She does. It's like a lot of times we'll just be like, oh, nobody reads the back of the card. It's just put some stats on there and blah, 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 blah. And
I love it.
And she cares about the back of a card. And I've tried to, there's some times where it just is what it is, but there's other times, like you're saying, there's foil on both of those cards. You don't see foil on the back of cards anymore. That's a whole deco die that costs money. You don't see people putting foil on top and the bottom of the card. Just like something like doubloons. You don't see doubloon, you don't see chrome on both sides of the cards. I didn't invent this. Like, I'm never going to take credit for inventing it, because it's been done before. 100% hasn't been done for a long time, and because of costs usually. And so to be able to like do stuff like that, and there's more to come. There's a lot more to come when it comes to just being a little innovative, or bringing back some stuff that just people are afraid to do because it costs a little bit extra money.
Mm-hmm. Here's the other variant that
Yeah,
I
that
pulled
one's
out as
sick too.
well. Oh, it's so sick. It's so sick. And then I even ended up getting, rest in peace, Johnny
Yeah.
Hockey is the gold variant. I actually love the silver skates, the silver and the gold variant. What else did I pull out for you? I don't
And
know.
would
I
you
think,
like? Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I thought you guys did great. I love that you brought the legends into it as well. Again, I'm a huge Gretzky guy, so I really love that you brought the legends into that set. Like I said, I think you guys are knocking it out of the park right now. Just year over year, everything seems to get better. Um, obviously last year I think was tough for a lot of collectors, including myself.
Oh yeah,
Where, and maybe you could answer this. One of the things that I noticed compared to previous years is obviously since we had Bedard in last year, which I was lucky enough, yes, to
nice.
pull his young gun,
You
his
got one
glossy
more
as
than I
well.
do.
That, oh, no way. Okay, that's surprising. But you know what I pulled it in, Billy, was I got lucky, and we call them what's the word we use in the card community? Poachers or poachers, I guess you could say. I went to Meyer, and only you and I know what Meyer is because we're from Michigan, and there was a line. And I'm like, oh, hold on. Like, this was in the middle of the day. I was off work. And so I went up there on a Thursday or Friday or whatever it was. And I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, we're just waiting for some cards. And the lady from MJ Holding was restocking the shelf. And so the guy at the beginning of the line, like, asked me, like, well, what are you looking for? I'm like, well, I'm looking for Series 2. And I'm like, what are you guys here for? And he's like, well, we're here for Series 2 and we're here for One Piece. I'll be honest with you, not until that day, I had no clue what One Piece was. And I'm like, well, I'm going to get back in the line because I'm the last guy here. It's cool. Well, a lady was waiting in front, and she ended up, as soon as the lady was done taking her pictures of the shelf, she came in, scooped in 3 tins, and then I came in and there were none left. Well, I kind of crouched down and there was one left. And so I'm not kidding you. I was kneeling down for like 10, 15 minutes to wait for all of them to go away. And the one guy at the beginning of the line came over and handed me a tin. And at the time, it was buy one, get one 40% off because Meyer will do that.
Nice.
And so I waited until all the guys left. I ended up walking away with 2 tins. And out of the 1 tin, I pulled the young gun. And then it wasn't until like a month later where I found the Series 2 mega boxes. So I scooped those 2 up. But this product has been impossible to find since it's come out. And I don't know if you can really speak on that again from your point of view, but that was my only thing. Was it was really hard compared to previous years to find Series 2 in retail.
So first off, I'm going to save this clip because I had friends, and they like when COVID and the boom happened, they would send me photos of Target and
Yep.
Walmart, and the only thing that would be there is hockey. And they'd be like, "What's going on, Billy?" I'm like, "You're in California. They don't care about hockey in California."
Yeah.
And they just dogged me all the time. But what Bedard did was it brought in a lot of new collectors
Yeah.
and different types of collectors. There's people that here's the thing is you go to Walmart or Meijer or wherever and you get the blaster. They're not marked up.
Yeah.
The price didn't change. Now do the math. If the price doesn't change on the blasters, do you think we change the price on other stuff? No, we have a consistent pricing thing. The problem is the secondary market determined that the hobby boxes are worth a lot more,
Mm-hmm.
and the prices of those went up. And because they went up, like I was at the expo when Series 2 came out, and they were going for like 400 something Canadian, which is like $20 US. I'm just joking, but it's still, it's. And so you could buy all these blasters and have a much better chance than buying a hobby box. And I think that's 100%. What happened is a lot of people kind of caught wind of it or understand the system. Myers doesn't jack up the prices. It's just there it is.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people, like you said, the lines in Michigan. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that you got them. And I'm glad that you you got the Bedard too. That's awesome. But yeah, that's kind of my, and going back to the that sort of thing. And you were talking about how we went to the 3 inserts and stuff and took out some base cards. We really did that. And I kind of asked my boss, and my boss kind of was behind it, and he supported me. And it was like getting to the higher ups. And we asked a lot of our people that like we talked to consultants and stuff, like, what do you think? And at that time when we first were thinking about doing it, because keep in mind we build products probably about 16 months before the product comes out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
$5 for, or $4.99 or whatever, or $3.40 or $4.49, I think is what it was at the time. $4.49 for a pack of cards. Good luck finding a pack of cards that cost $4.49 in any other of the sports. So we're just like, okay, this whole like, well, kids can't collect if it's cost too much. We understand that. We do have products like MVP and like O-Pee-Chee and stuff like that are even much more affordable. But people buy Series 1 by the box usually. And so it's just like, I don't want to change the price of the box. But the cost of goods and materials keeps going up. Foil keeps going up. Paper keeps going up. Deco foil all the stuff just keeps going up. And so I'm like, well, how can we do it? And you have to really look at a costing and break down like where you think you can save money. And one of the big places I felt we could save some money is the foil wrapping, because you're kind of charged for each individual pack. So let's cut the packs in half, lose a little bit more foil, but we're cutting the packs in half. And then second is just raw materials, paper. Okay, let's kind of cut back on the number of base card or number of cards that you would get per box. I go, but I really felt that we couldn't just like cut the number of cards without doing something else. I was very adamant about that. And I said, let's put in 3 inserts. Like we've got a number of different types of inserts that we can do, and we can build more inserts. And it is a challenge, like I mentioned, but like you said, I think it's important to have the variety and give a good pack opening experience. And I think that's what we did with our flagship. It was like I haven't really heard any complaints, and the breakers are real happy too, because they don't have to rip as much, like half as many packs now.
For sure. No, I agree. I mean, I open packs with my kids, and I think it's been, blast. And I'm these particular series I'll usually kind of do on my own. But some other stuff that I find on the shelf that's, on sale, I'll let them join in, and trying to teach them how to handle cards and everything, like my dad, kind of taught me growing up. And although my dad was collecting, 1980 O-Pee-Chee that, that was produced in abundance back then. And
my dad taught me, don't let your mom throw away your cards when you're a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I got a ton of cards that are in sleeves and top loaded that maybe shouldn't be, but to me, they mean something pretty special. And I wanted to touch base on metal. I ended up getting a box. So how I get my boxes, and whether you guys like this or not, my LCS charges a little bit more. So I have a guy that I buy from the card show. And I'm always able to get a pretty good deal from him. I did buy my Allure from the LCS. They're a great LCS, A to Z comics in Garden City, and a bunch of great group of guys there. So I bought some Allure from them, and they were having a sale. So I scooped up a few boxes of that. But I opened some metal, and one of the inserts, again, like you said,
is your new favorite insert. What?
Oh yeah, this is absolutely my new favorite insert, and I already made my video and posted, and everyone knows how I feel about this. But I have to ask, what is this? What
So,
is this?
so what a lot of people don't understand. Well, first of all, like I said, I always have one of those in metal. I always have one of those. I just have one weird, wacky insert.
I love.
Metal is supposed to just kind of be like
Yes,
out there sometimes.
I figured.
Like I still get people talking about the cheddar. That
Oh, I love the cheddar.
well,
It's one of
some
my
people
favorite
don't.
cards, bro.
Some
It's one of
people
my
don't.
favorite. Oh wow.
The one that upsets me, not doesn't upset me. I had to go with a triangle pick instead of a regular guitar pick because
Oh, I
the
love
way
that
it's
card.
cut, like
Yep.
the way like we had to sort it, the cutter and feeder and stuff. Like unfortunately I couldn't round it, but so it's like it's a triangle pick instead of a regular pick.
Yeah.
So what you probably, unless you've watched some of the videos where I've already explained this,
Yeah.
the background is a puzzle. It's one big constellation. And so the heads are like planets. So those cards make one big puzzle. And part of me was like, I should tell that immediately. And the other part of me is like, I'm going to let people just stew this one for a while. But what I wanted someone to do was like kind of line them up and realize it's one big puzzle and that the heads are like
No
kind of planets.
way.
100%.
I did not know this.
Oh, okay.
So you're telling me this picture in this corner right here, eventually it'll
match
all
up
line
with
up.
another. Yes. 100%.
No way.
Yeah, and
Holy smokes.
how big's the cards? Is it like a 30 card? So it's like a 5x6 or something like that. And Gene,
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, Gene was kind of like, this one's on Billy, like because we got them initially and the heads were too small, and I'm like, no, I want bigger heads. And she's like, this is what you want? I go, this is exactly what I want, Gene. She's like, my hands are off this one. But Gene did the good work. Gene's the one that made the constellation and all that other stuff. And it was my my brain, I guess you could call it, that said, I want big floating heads in it.
Wow. I did not know that. And okay, Billy, I gotta admit, you're kind of redeemed on that one, I think, because that is a really cool concept. It's a very different card. And again, like you said, metal, tends to be, again, and you kind of know that from really ripping the cars. And I got a couple more to show, but the backgrounds I think are really cool in this year's, to be honest with you, on the base set. I'm a big space guy, so
this
the
was
flying
the first
UFOs. And
so like a metal ago, I got to work with Gene, but Gene wasn't part of the staff yet. And so I kind of had already like had the concepts and had what I wanted. And Gene came in and she'd want to do some stuff. And I'm like, Gene, it's not costed for that. We can't do like, and she's like, but I want to do this. And, we were flexible in some places, but couldn't be flexible in other places. So this time it's like, okay, Gene, what do you want to do? And she's like, well, I want to do, okay. So now I know what you want to do. Now I can cost for it. There were some inserts. I'm just like, go for it. Like, you got this much money to spend, like just do something with it. And there was, I don't want to say there was no direction, but there's some inserts that they're hers. Like her and Earl were the ones that created those inserts for a different company at the time. You want to know what's funny about that one? That's actually, I believe, designed by a relative of Gene's. Like she wanted.
Oh, really?
She wanted to get that like depth. Like that depth feel of the premium. And that's one where she's just like, I want to spend a little extra money because I want to be able to do this and this. And I'm like, go for it. We'll take the money from someplace else.
Oh, Barry, I could totally ask him about that. I'm going to get through metal here with him real quick. And I could totally ask him about Flair Ultra Wolverine. I collected 95 Flair Ultra Wolverine when I was a kid. I know they do Marvel cards, and I'd be happy to ask him for you once I get towards the end. I love Meltdown.
Yep.
Thought that was a great insert.
That's another former. And again, we there are a couple that we redid, but then like the Noise Boys, we remade Noise Boys, and we remade them correctly.
I love Soul of the Game. I have an Ovi Soul of the Game. I forgot to bring it with me, but I love that card.
And then there's other cards where she reinvented them. Like we don't want to just. I don't want Fleer retro when I build these sets. This was one of those I didn't know what to expect. She comes back with.
I like it.
That's crazy. Like I loved it. Yeah,
I love it.
Not what I expected.
A bunch of it's got a bunch of hockey sticks through it. I think that's amazing. Huge fan of the Z-Force.
Yep.
Huge fan of that card. That's amazing.
She wanted lots of color, and you got
Yep.
it for sure.
I like that. I love Tutari Star. I got Bedard Tutari.
So there
That
are
was
some
great.
inserts, and I think this is one. There's another, the energetic explosions, where unfortunately I think the light effects, which is the foil on top, kind of
Yeah.
eats up a little bit of the color. Like
Yeah.
the explosion one is like there's this huge explosion behind the player. Well, the player hides part of it, and the foil kind of eats it a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
trying to work on that when I come up with concepts, to just remember what different foils and different foil boards and stuff do to designs. But it's still a beautiful card.
It is a
Um,
beautiful card. It's,
yeah,
the material you guys use on your metal is it's sensitive. I'll say, I'll be kind. It's very sensitive as far as, when you're ripping it and you're pulling it. You do it, especially if you're, let's say, selling them or whatever. You do have to handle them with care. And it's more just the foil that's used, but I particularly like it. I ended up pulling a Precious Metal Gems, my first one ever, of Quinn Hughes. I thought that was a monster card.
very nice.
I was really excited about that. But no, I love what you guys are doing and in the direction you're going in. And like I said, I brought a couple packs and I got some other stuff here. Again, I won't keep you too much longer. We're already running into an hour, but I figure it'd be fun to rip some cards in front of you. And now, so do you collect yourself, or are you completely out of the game because you're working with it every day?
So that's the crazy thing, is I still collect, and I love to collect what we build. I'm more of I have like PC stuff that I collect. So I obviously collect anything Detroit. I'm a big Red
Yep.
Wings fan, so
Yep.
I'll collect a lot of Red Wings stuff. I do collect wrestling too. I'm a big wrestling fan. When we got the
Awesome.
license, I was
Yeah.
stoked. I've built many of the wrestling sets that have come out
Okay.
for AEW. People online know that I'm one of the bigger Ty Mello collectors.
Okay.
So any of you guys have any Ty Mello cards, send them my way. But and then I used to coach soccer. I coached at Lansing Eastern, and I coached at Grand Ledge, boys and girls varsity for a number of years.
Oh,
So
nice.
I collect a lot of women's soccer also. I'm a big fan
Oh, okay.
of that. I coached the women for about 8-9 years. So I just kind of keep following the sport. I'd always have my players watch games and stuff. So I've continued with it. Do you want to mention anything about soccer? Anything in your family that you want to bring up? No? Okay, good. Let's stay quiet about that.
No, we'll say, yeah, that determined the oh, what's up, Nord? Yeah, that was determining our interview status here. And Billy was nice enough to still come on, even though he's still got a little sour spot for it. Although I didn't go to that high school, so I think I'm good there. But looks like we pulled a Z-Force of Luke Hughes. That's a nice one. And then we got the Adam Fantilli. So here's kind of what the base rookie looks like, everyone. It's like I said, it's got more of a space type of background, a little futuristic, and hey, did really good.
There's multiple backgrounds.
I
Jean
love
was
it.
adamant about getting as many backgrounds as she could. She kept asking for more.
It's really cool that they're a different shade. If I kind of back up, I actually didn't realize. I thought they were all going to be this color, just in number,
Oh
but I
no,
actually like that it's
there's
orange.
different levels of raving, as you might know from all those parties that you went to back in the day.
Not much of a partier, Billy. I was kind of lame. No, that's not true. If Paul was in here who's playing hockey, he'd tell you different. But that was my one pack of metal that I got. And then I got 2 packs of Series 1. I guess while I rip this and kind of show the inserts, what do you got coming up? I know we got Artifacts, which is going to be out on 11/27. And then we got Parkhurst Champions, which I absolutely love that set coming back. I love the mini Parky. That's 12/11 of 2024. If those dates are different, please correct me. But what do you guys got coming up that everyone can kind of look forward to?
That's a great question. I'd have to I have to look.
I got it pretty much written down. Yeah, I did some homework, man. I made sure I
I
came
appreciate
prepared.
it. I
Of
appreciate
course,
it.
bro. Of course. I mean, you can't have the
You want
senior
to know what's
product
coming out
manager on
is
and not be
Marvel
prepared.
Studios Series 2 is coming out. So
Okay.
like that's coming out. There's autographs of Brie Larson and Natalie
Oh,
Portman,
nice.
and it's the MCU. So we did the TV
Yep.
version first, and the second series is the movies. So
Okay.
all the movies that came out in Phase 4, that's what's featured in the set. And there's like 2 autographs per box. These boxes are absolutely loaded.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm
Jeremy
trying to
Lee.
find a box of the first series, and when I go to the expo.
Oh yeah, hopefully, yeah, you'll be able to find it there. Jeremy Lee just joined up. I had him on the show, and he was an amazing guest to have. He's so knowledgeable with really all sports, but I love his kind of take on hockey. I know you've spoken with him before, and he's a great Canadian, and that's really awesome to see that you joined, Jeremy. Much appreciated, brother. I was trying to pre-record this so we could put it on a different time, but I don't have the premium like some of you guys on StreamYard, so I had to go live with it. Well, I can tell you this: so far, these 2 packs, which were the last 2 packs, we pulled some fire, Billy. At least that's the way I see it. So not only did we get a Patrice Bergeron renewed young gun,
Nice.
fantastic player who's now retired, love that guy, but we also got the Eric Carlson. So we pulled 2 of 3 that were in this hobby box that I went in and I'm like, I'll take those 2 packs. And she's like, all right, they're the last 2. We also pulled Jason Poland, Colorado. Oh, I had a blast with you, Jeremy. You're an awesome guy, and I try and watch you every Sunday. I don't necessarily comment all the time if I watch you on the big screen, so forgive me, sir. But I'm always watching, supporting. I'm always making sure to smash that thumbs up for you. We got Joshua Waugh. I know he's a big time prospect that everyone's after. What's his name on Montreal? Now it's slipping me. I just had it on the top of my head.
There we go.
Yeah.
And you want to know what's funny is Crosby has a checkpoint card.
I saw that.
I was like, did they find the one? Like, is he like tapping his shoulder? Like, what's he doing? Like, there's no way. I was like checking the checklist. I go, you got to be. I ran over to my coordinator to look and see what the card was because I didn't believe he was in the set.
I saw that. I have to have it. I'm a huge Crosby collector. I haven't counted recently, but I'm for sure over 350 cards of Crosby in my PC. Yeah, huge collector. This is how I went about it. I had a ton of his cards already, and I figure I just kind of condensed down what I was collecting. Even though I'm kind of all over the place, I collect a bunch of guys, but I went after OV and Crosby pretty strong. I got an OV Ultimate Rookie signature, which is kind of my prized possession. I got a Crosby autograph card to 50 and try to scoop up rookies when I can. I'm at the card show. Like I've gotten a few 05, 06 rookies for like $1, but yeah, I know you got artifacts coming out 11/27. That's going to be an exciting product. I always love artifacts. Parker's Champions, it looks like it's crazy improved with a ton of new inserts in it. Obviously Bedard's going to be in that, but I love the mini Parkies, especially with the bubblegum pack. Another big product that you guys are coming out with is going to be the PWHL, which I think is going to be a real big hit. I kind of pre-looked at, what some of the cards look like. I know that Steel City usually will show like an example. I think that's going to be a great set for everyone to collect.
You want to know a funny story?
Yeah.
I was on I was trying to get the wrestling stuff. It might have been a new arrival or something like that. And I saw P and I was just like, oh, the PWHL's right. So I just hit it. It got a box. It was the PFL, the Professional Fight League. I was clicking too fast and I bought a box of that. I was just like, oh no. I was like, wait a minute, what is this? I was yeah, that was sometimes you can't do stuff. Oh, I'm gonna plug Jeremy here real quick, by the way.
Yeah, please.
He's got his he has a sports card live
Yep.
dinner at the expo on Thursday at
Okay.
Jack Astor's. Once the floor closes, everybody head on over there. I'm actually going to head over there a little bit earlier because I have to dip a little bit earlier. So I'll just be hanging out a little bit earlier if people are leaving early. They're more than welcome to join me. But I don't think the appetizers start until like 7:20 or 8:20, and those are brought to you by Upper Deck. But it's gotten bigger each year. It is a great place to network. It's a great place to talk to people. So many people that care about trading cards and hockey cards and just cards in general, from all facets of collecting. It's amazing, and I highly recommend if you are in or if you are at the expo Thursday, please stop by because it is an exceptional event.
That's awesome.
And Jeremy, and I say that with Jeremy having booted me off of his intro video that I used to be part of, but then he started getting all the big names, and the little picture of Billy's floating head just disappeared real quick.
I think he'll be changing that after this conversation.
No, he won't.
No, Jeremy's a great guy, and we actually do have a lot of Canadians that will end up watching the show. I usually will kind of promote it afterwards as well, and yeah, that's awesome, Jeremy. I think that's amazing. Oh yeah, Billy got the cut. One of the questions that Nord had was, what's your favorite card design of all time, either Upper Deck or before your time with the company?
Design. Wow, I've never been asked that one. That's
a great question. It's a great question.
Man, there's like some in all honesty, it's the one that I was telling you about that never happened. I have a picture of it. This was easily my favorite design, and it unfortunately was unable to be made. This is let me get a good, see if I can, there's so much light. Oh, there it is. This is the bacon wrap parallel. So this is the bacon around all of this. Here's the back of the card. It's just all strips of bacon.
That's awesome.
I love bacon.
What step was that going to go in?
This was a lure.
Oh, no way.
Yep. And we made a bacon wrap parallel. And guess what? There's a few kosher players that play in the NHL. It got approved. The designer's like, oh, what about this kind of bacon? What about this kind of bacon? And I'm like, no, I don't want like crispy bacon. It's wrap, like just like you find in a wrap. She's like, I can't find any in the stock of like regular bacon. She's like, I'm gonna go to the market and buy some bacon and take pictures of it. And like it was a big thing. And it got through. I said it got through. Yeah, if it was Canadian bacon, maybe I could have gotten away with it. It
Thanks,
got
Logan.
through,
night, buddy.
And then the brand team that I complimented so nicely about the Series 1 box, they ended up shutting it down after the fact.
No,
that was one of my favorite designs that never happened.
I love that.
We've had some other funny ones. Like sometimes people don't get my sense of humor. One of my favorite insert names of all time is, I mean, there's some cool ones like Duncan Go Nuts and stuff like that. But I told you I'd like to do enforcer sets. And I was like, oh my gosh, it would be hilarious because they're in the penalty box. So I had an insert, and it was a shadow box, and it was called Box Filler. And so people are looking at the checklist, and it just says Box Filler. And they're like, Upper Deck, just stop trying. Like they don't even care anymore. Like it's just called Box Filler. And then once people got the cards and saw it, they realized, oh, this is themed, like Probert's in this, and Ty Domi and Koser and those kind of guys. And you froze on my screen. Are you still there, Perchy? Hey, I'm going to try to rejoin because I do not. You are frozen. Oh, now you're out. Can you guys hear me? I own the show now. I love Upper Deck. Hey,
Sorry about that. Wow.
no worries, man.
It's been a while since that happened, but yeah, I was going to wrap us up. I've taken a lot of your time, and I appreciate being so awesome. It was a real opportunity for me, you know, as a collector, someone who absolutely loves collecting hockey cards. And I did know, and I don't want to forget his question. I'll kind of really touch on this because I don't want to forget him. I thought it was a good question, but I know that. Let me go back up here, and I'll have to try and edit this, but where is that question about the Marvel cards? Scrolling here real quick. Yeah, I know they were asking about the Wolverine set.
Yep.
Which is my guy. That's my son's named after, like, Wolverine. So that's his whole room is basically Wolverine. But yeah, if you wanted to touch on that real quick, and then like I said, I'll let you go. I'll let you get going here. And we do have a couple people that do collect that. So
Oh no, I'd love to talk about it. It's one of the favorite sets I've built. I had taken over some entertainment products, especially during COVID. And second, oh, why don't we do the trivia anymore? I think Carlin was part of that. And he hasn't been with us for a couple years. He was the trivia. I got to do the trivia one time. I had a blast with it. I went rogue sometimes on some of my I think I even started like a theme song for it. But or I questioned why there wasn't a theme song and tried to make up my own. But Wolverine was one of the first Marvel products that I'd built X-Files for entertainment, but I hadn't really built a Marvel set from scratch. And a lot of the Fleer Ultra sets, you know, were for Marvel were really based off of they did a nice mix of, you know, a lot of Fleer Ultra inserts, and then a lot of there were some like original stuff that they put in there also. Man, I wanted to go gung ho and really just do a Logan Wolverine focus set with a lot of like luckily that's one of the ones that I collected back in the day. You know, I had the Frank Miller, and then I you know, kind of jumped back into it. My main collecting days. I think a lot of people, when they stopped, there was a period where it became almost like the junk wax era, and people turned to comic books, and it was X-Men, X-Force, and then like Valiant Comics and Image Comics just started blowing up, and there was like this huge explosion of comics, Death of Superman, and so I got into comics around there, and one of the characters I did collect was Wolverine. So there were a number of things that I really wanted to like bring to the table, and it was such a cool set. Like the family genealogy was like, we can kind of make stuff look like wood, and I went and saw that he's, you know, there's an array of different types of different Wolverines, male, female, all that sort of stuff. He's got a dog, you know, he's got family. I mean, let's do the family genealogy. Let's do you know, there's the famous cover number 50 that has like the die cuts in the cover. And I created an insert. And here's the funny thing is we put those in like mini envelopes that said like top secret on it.
Yes.
And what was hilarious is they called me and they're like, Billy, it's gonna cost like $10,000, something ridiculous. I want to say it was between $5,000 and $10,000 to print on these mini envelopes, top secret. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. They're like, nope. I go, it's got to be on there.
Yeah.
I go to Amazon. I literally buy 2 rubber stamps that say top secret, and I get a purchase order, and I get it. I go, Kelly, I'm sending you these things. I go, if you want to send them to my desk and I will stamp each one of them, that's fine with me. I go, but I'm not spending that much money when I could spend $10 in an hour of time and get all those things stamped. And they had someone in North Carolina that could do it for me. But that's one of the fun stories behind that insert was just making sure that we had envelopes that could do it, because I don't know,
Yeah.
there was a previous set that it had which one was it? It wasn't Avenger. Was it Avenger? It was Avengers, I think. But anyway, they were supposed to polybag the card. It was supposed to be a mini polybag.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up not buying the right poly bag. And it's literally like a bag folded and taped down. It looks really bad. So I was very adamant about making sure that we got envelopes for these cards, that they fit through the feeder, that everything worked, and it did. The metal cards, they were supposed to be based off of the issue where you can see Hulk through in his metal, but unfortunately Marvel didn't like that concept using other characters. So they kind of changed they kind of changed the design on me without me knowing, which I was a little bummed about. But that set was so much fun to build, and that was, the first Fleer Ultra set that I built from scratch. So the other one and the funny thing is, so Avengers I kind of took over and added a few things to it, but then the next one was Wolverine, and then the next one was Midnight Suns, and we got a new guy that was working in entertainment, and he took over and did Midnight Suns. Well, they didn't want to have Avengers and Wolverine so close together, so they kind of bumped Wolverine back, and they put Midnight Suns first. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I've been waiting for this. I literally, like 3 years, I waited for that set to come out, because we wanted to time it. Like, you just didn't want to put like two of the same thing. So we kind of mixed it up where it's Wolverine, then it was Midnight Suns. Or, I'm sorry, it was Avengers, Wolverine, Midnight Suns. Now, I will say there's one more coming out, and it's Matriarchs of Marvel. It's going to be pretty badass. A lot of really cool designs. And I'm excited about that one too. That one again was built from scratch. There were some adjustments that were made. It's no secret that we've moved on from the Marvel license and are focusing on DC. And that being said, some of these sets we kind of have to get out before a certain time. So there were some changes that had to be made. That being said, I think we did an amazing job of making sure that this set, is still true to what we envisioned. And I know there's been some people like complaining that the matriarchs is like old women or whatever. Like, no, we wanted a powerful woman set. We don't want. You were talking about collecting some of the old Marvel cards. Remember that insert where it's like all the Marvel characters in bikinis and stuff like that? Like, just like we didn't want any of that. We wanted, more powerful set. And I think Matriarchs really describes that better than a number of other things. And then what people don't understand is there's, we already have a Women of Marvel set that's coming out. So we couldn't do that. We couldn't use that. And insert names and set names are hard to come by. You don't just want to kind of a set name. You do not want to, you don't want it to be weak. So it took us a while to come up with that name. And, I love it. I think it's a cool set, and I can't wait for that one to come out. I think it's coming out early December.
Yeah, I think you guys are really, really hitting it with that. When I was at actually Walmart yesterday, they had I think it was your phase 4, if I'm not mistaken, blaster box, where it has Scarlet Witch, She-Hulk, and that was actually on the shelf.
That's series 1. Series 2, I think, is out in a week and a half. That's the MCU one I was telling you about. And those are fun. And you know what's funny is that set and the next one, they're built the way that we picked up a bunch of designs. And the portraits are gorgeous because it used foil and not just, I couldn't afford foil when I built it initially in flagship, and I could afford it. And I'm like, I want to do these the way I envisioned them at first, because I had to take away the foil when I built it. But it's the one that has like the frame design. They're gorgeous. And then there's like texture to the fluorescence, and it's a really fun set.
Yeah, I love the Wolverine set. I actually watched. So funny enough that, you talking about collecting comic books, I'm typically on a show on Saturday night called Spine Ticks. And my buddy Sith Lordley, what we'll do is we'll showcase some. We talk about sports. You know, since I kind of jumped on board, he's a huge hockey fan. He lives out in LA, and he roots for the Ducks and Kings. So we do have like a sports segment, but then we showcase like comics like throughout. You know, we call it cover themes, and he does a pick 1 of 3, and then not only that, then we'll show what we picked up for the week for the theme. And so I'm really big into that. Like I said, I got the whole set of 95 Fleer Ultra X-Men that my dad helped me collect when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was at the recent card show, I picked up some 94. This guy was selling like boxes of, you know, just random cards in Sports Illustrated. So I picked up the box, and then I kind of reached out the card community like, hey, do you want like this Sports Illustrated book? I'm just here for the hockey sort of thing. And so I picked out a couple Wayne Gretzky's, and then I still happened to buy a box of cards and 94. And as I'm flipping through it, I ended up getting 2 Wolverines out of there. One's the iconic Claws, Sea Hulk, and
No.
my son's room is absolutely decked out in Wolverine. From all, I got the Frank Miller issue number 1. I got the issue number 50 that you're talking about in a frame. And when I was watching Marvel Madness, this guy named Josh, who is a fanatic about collecting Marvel cards. I've watched so much of this product rip. It's not even funny. And I haven't even ripped it yet. And I'm so jealous watching it, because when that card comes out and you pull it out of that top secret, I'm like, oh my God, this is like one of the funnest inserts I've ever seen in a card. And not to downplay any hockey stuff, but that is an awesome insert that you guys put in that set, and you guys killed it with that, and you're killing it with it. So I appreciate you talking about that.
I'll mention too, and I think it's out pretty soon. Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out.
Yeah,
and I'll discuss some fun stuff with you offline, because I don't want to give away, because I want to see people's reaction.
Sure. Yeah,
I can't wait for it. Remember how I say there's trolls that don't get it at first?
Yeah.
I've set them up. I set them up good.
That's awesome. Wait. Well, yeah, I'll kind of end it on that happy note. I really appreciate your time. Again, I've definitely held you. Plus the technical difficulty held us up for about 10 minutes. So it's been an absolute honor, Billy. I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day. I know you got you know, pretty busy schedule coming up with the expo and you know, going out there, and it's an honor for me to have you on the show. Again, just a small little channel growing, and I've had a lot of cool guests on so far. Jeremy Lee, a couple Locked On programs. I had a goalie on yesterday, and I know everyone will get a kick out of it and getting some insight on these hockey cards. And you brought me a little luck in my pack rips tonight, so I appreciate that. And if you want to plug anything before we sign off, please do. And I'd be happy to let you do so.
Yeah, I'll be on Perchy today. No, just kidding. No, I'll always say, you know, I'm an advertising marketing major. And honestly, the guy that's going to be able to probably be the most passionate and be able to tell you the most about a trading card set is going to be me. Not me, but the ones I build. I mean, the person who built it is going to be the one that's going to be able to do it. So I love doing these things, because I feel it's, you know, an opportunity to explain stuff. When I go in groups and stuff, when I go on podcasts and stuff, a lot of the reason I'm on there is just to really inform and explain. And I think I've had an opportunity to do that. And I think it's pretty obvious, and I don't do it on purpose, but I think it's pretty obvious. I care a lot, and it comes out in how I talk about my products and how I talk about, you know, Upper Deck. So, and I just will mention one more thing. If you saw the video of the 7 of the cup cards, all the 7 cup 99s going into 110. I don't know if you saw that promo or not, and you recognize this jacket and these hands. These are the hands and that did the marketing video for it. I was like, everyone's gonna know it's me because I'm wearing an Adidas jacket, because that's all I ever wear. I was like, oh shoot, I'm wearing the same jacket that I wore in that video. I appreciate you getting a hold of me. I love doing these things and talking to people and meeting new people in the community. I don't know if you're going to be able to make it out to the expo. It's a little bit of a drive, I know, but one of these days, Heck, go to buy some tickets to the Shoresy Classic. I'll meet you before the game. We'll have
bro, that'd be awesome.
We'll have a couple tasty beverages or something beforehand. Get a little pitter patter going on.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
I'm excited. I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
but
no, that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And I appreciate everything.
Yeah, cool. And I just want to say thanks to the chat again. I was trying to pre-record, it wouldn't let me, but some people showed up anyway. I know it's a busy night here in the United States for a lot of people, and they're kind of glued to their televisions with that. And so Nord for stopping by, Jay's Mix, Barry, he's such a great supporter. Jeremy Lee, of course, stopping by, which is huge surprise. That guy's awesome. I absolutely love watching his stuff. Logan, I'm on the show with Logan every Saturday. He's such a great guy. Huge into comics, and I'm trying to get him into hockey cards. I have a nice little pile for him of he lives in Utah, so I'm giving him some Arizona cards now that I've migrated over there. And Papa and Baby Barrett stop by. He's a huge sports collector. I know some other in the community will eventually watch the replay. And like I said, we got a huge group of people that collect hockey cards in this community. And to have someone actually from Upper Deck is pretty amazing. And I've seen you elsewhere. You were just on a show just a couple weeks ago, and I have their name in front of me. I want to give them a quick plug because I think they're awesome. And that is Center Ice Cardcast. You were on with them. Those boys did a great job. And that's with Eric and Aaron. So that's kind of where I saw you the last time. And appreciate you again, Billy. Celio, correct? Celio,
yep.
Senior Project Manager for Upper Deck. Thank you again. And we will definitely catch you guys in the next one.
Yep. And Livonia Stevenson, soccer sucks. Thank you.